Roswell Police. If you're inside, make yourself known now.
Today on Investigate TV Plus, without a warrant, police raid the wrong apartment and take renters into custody, how it unfolded, and who was held accountable.
Plus, an in-depth look at the leading cause of death among older adults.
A lot of people don't even realize until they have an accident.
The dangerous trend emergency responders have noticed and the inspiring steps being taken to help save lives.
But first, the state of education.
A crisis. We are in a crisis point.
Federal data finds school systems are short-staffed. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. The solutions districts are using to inspire the next generation of teachers.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about the kids.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Teacher shortages grip schools nationwide.
According to the Department of Education, during the 2022-2023 school year, all 50 states reported vacancies.
We are struggling, that's true, but it is worth it.
Virginia teacher Savannah Norvell says many days she's spread thin, teaching half a dozen of her own classes, in addition to helping cover several other classes.
I know I'm often taking my work home with me, grading papers, working on the weekend.
In the fall of 2022, nearly half of public schools across the country were operating without a full teaching staff. There was an average of 2 vacant teaching positions per school. Trends are even worse for schools with a large number of minority students. About 6 in 10 public schools with more than 75% minority students had at least 1 teaching vacancy, compared to about 3 in 10 schools with fewer than 25% of minority students.
We do have that support, it's here, but we need more teachers. We need more people to join our team.
One of the teaching positions with the highest vacancy rates in public schools, special education.
It is critical schools fill those roles, as the National Center for Education Statistics finds more than 60% of students with disabilities spend at least 80% of their day in general classes.
It's led some school systems to build their own pipelines of qualified teachers.
Reporter Heather Graff has insight from leaders at the Department of Education and an in-depth look at the search for solutions.
So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Susan Blake has been a special education teacher for 15 years.
All right, you wanna keep reading the rest of this page?
Yeah, they look in here.
And she remembers feeling called to this career at an early age.
When I was in high school, I volunteered as a peer mentor as one of my classes in the special education classroom. And then I really knew when I volunteered with the Special Olympics, and just this joy that they would exude was just so amazing, and I just at that moment knew that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. High five. Put it in your backpack.
Dedication that now gives Susan a unique perspective when it comes to staffing shortages.
What do you think?
Here in Alexandria, Virginia, and in other special education classrooms throughout the country.
I think I am a little bit biased just because I am so passionate about what I do and working with the students that I teach, but I do understand and empathize with people who might shy away from becoming a special education teacher because it is a big responsibility and it is a big job.
According to the National Center for Education Statistics, among schools reporting staff vacancies at the start of the 2022-2023 school year, 65% said they were understaffed in special education, surpassing every other subject area. And as for the current school year,
the word concerning is an understatement.
When we sat down with the U.S. Department of Education's Director of Special Education Programs in August 2023, Valerie Williams said this.
A crisis. We are in a crisis point. I believe 48 states have reported shortages in special educators. Which is 98% of school districts across the country.
She says it's important people understand that crisis actually predates the pandemic, but it's gotten worse. Data from the 2011-2012 school year shows 17% of public schools hiring special education teachers reported difficulties filling their openings. Compare that to the 2020-2021 school year, which coincides with the start of COVID, and the hiring difficulties more than double to 40%.
Why do you think special education positions do tend to have some of the highest vacancy rates? Why are those positions so hard to fill?
The workload is heavy. It's hard. The challenges are mainly that I'm not sure that people feel prepared.
So in Alexandria, the school system is trying to change that through a new partnership with nearby George Washington University.
Good. What else?
That pairs experienced teachers like Susan with graduate students from the college.
They have a phenomenal special education graduate program. We have a special education need, so put our heads together and decided, let's create a residency program.
And it allows us to train them so that as they then step into the role of a teacher, they're feeling much more equipped.
Take, for instance, Isaiah Clark, who says his connection to this profession is a family affair.
My mom has actually been a teacher for 30 years. And even my sister, she's a teacher as well. So it's kind of in our family. So for me, it was a no-brainer when this opportunity presented itself.
So you're getting your master's degree.
Yes.
And you're getting hands-on experience in the classroom.
It makes it a whole lot less scary next year when it's time for me to actually be a full-time teacher.
The residency program here differs from traditional student teaching because in the first year, Isaiah and other participants take their master's degree coursework while simultaneously working as paid instructional assistants in Alexandria classrooms. Then in year 2, they move into full-time special education teacher roles. And the school system is also offering $800 a year in tuition reimbursement.
I get here about 7:30 every day.
All of it designed to recruit, prepare, and retain more qualified special education teachers.
And so far, so good. I definitely think it will help Alexandria fill the gap.
As traditional program enrollments decline, we can't keep sourcing from the same pools, so we have to be creative.
And from the U.S. Department of Education, we heard a similar message.
We are more creative and more innovative than we have ever been out of necessity, and that is a good thing.
So that approach, the apprenticeship model, or the partnerships between school systems and colleges, for instance, those are approaches that this office would support.
Absolutely. Teacher residency programs and anything in those vein, those are becoming wildly successful just based on where we are at this moment.
A critical moment.
You guys can grab your folders and head over to this table.
For Susan as a veteran special education teacher, and for Isaiah as a teacher in training.
Yeah. And like the stability is there.
Okay.
And most of all,
Let's skip it.
for the students they serve.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about the kids.
I really do feel like the luckiest person to be able to work with these students. They've inspired and taught me so much more than what you would ever expect.
In July 2023, the U.S. Department of Education and Labor announced a joint effort and more than $90 million in funding to expand apprenticeship programs for teachers nationwide.
Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona says those programs allow future teachers to earn while they learn and called them, quote, a key strategy in the plan to address educator shortages.
Still to come, hidden history in an old home.
And we're like, well, that's really cool. We should pull that off and see what's there.
See the owner's quest to unravel a mansion's mysterious past and plant treasures for future caretakers.
But first, no knock, no warrant.
Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Manos arriba.
Police mistake renters for squatters. And our investigation reveals how an off-duty detective was part of the raid. Can the police hold you at gunpoint in your own home without a warrant?
That's the question two renters asked after police mistakenly raided their apartment in the middle of the night and took them into custody.
Investigative reporter Brendan Keefe looks at one case in Georgia and discovers some of the officers worked for the apartment complex while off duty.
Roswell Police, if you're inside, make yourself known now.
No knock.
Roswell Police, come to the sound of my voice. I just heard the door close.
No warrant.
Hey man, come, show me your hands. Show me your hands. Manos arriba.
Were you afraid? ¿Tuviste miedo?
Sí, tuve miedo.
Yes, I was afraid, I was scared.
Aquí. Aquí ahora.
Officers forced Mario Melgar from his apartment at gunpoint and took him into custody.
Get him out of the way.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? Why?
Pues no sé por qué.
Well, I don't know, because they put the handcuffs on me for nothing.
708, we have one detained.
Is someone living? Is it supposed to be vacant?
It's not supposed to be vacant.
Okay.
The officers with a specialized unit were looking for squatters in vacant apartments in June of last year. A broken window attracted their attention.
This is 100% supposed to be vacant?
About 90% sure.
The armed entry team had their doubts from the beginning.
Looks pretty furnished.
Hold it, I can go confirm.
You go confirm before we go further into this.
Detective Charles Craig checked the rent roll again and again.
It's a bunch of squatters, but I don't think this is going to be related.
That apartment was listed as occupied and fully paid up on rent.
Do you live here?
Yeah.
You live here?
Yeah.
Okay, show them vacant.
Even after Detective Craig checked the list, Mario and his roommate Marco were detained as suspects.
Pero tienes derechos. You have rights.
Exactamente.
Exactly.
The rent roll that you're referring to, the document that you're checking for vacancies on, where did you receive that document from?
I got it from the property manager.
Both Detective Craig and the officer with the ballistic shield and gun just inside the apartment received paychecks from the city and from the apartments.
Did you know Officer Craig worked for this apartment complex as an extra job?
No.
When a private business hires an off-duty police officer, they get more than just the person. They get the police uniform, the officer's badge, the officer's gun, their arrest powers, and in some cases, on-duty loyalty to their off-duty employer.
I f***ed up. I read the list wrong. It wasn't the list that was wrong. I read it wrong.
We don't know how much money the apartments paid any of the officers because the Roswell Police Department doesn't track off-duty hours or pay.
How long after that time when you realized this apartment wasn't on the list of vacant apartments did you finally release the person who was in handcuffs?
Too long, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. And during that 10 to 15 minutes, if you had to estimate, how many more times do you think you lied to try to save face during that interaction with the officers and the person who was handcuffed?
Multitude on the same thing to try to save face and try to make it go away.
I don't understand. They're supposed to be here?
Yeah, they're good. They live here.
Mario and Marco were released with an apology.
When we determined the officer lied, he was told that he was going to be terminated and he quit before he was fired.
What would you like to see changed?
I would like them to be more careful.
Tengan cuidado.
Show me your hands.
So that type of things don't happen again.
Get him out of the way.
Detective Craig resigned in lieu of termination. He and department management did not respond to multiple written offers to participate in this story.
Most police departments require officers to get approval for extra jobs. Some track hours or pay, others do not.
Roswell, Georgia told us those are private transactions between the outside employer and the off-duty officer, even though they're wearing the city's uniform, badge, and gun.
Still ahead, meet the homeowner with a hunch about the mysteries in his 140-year-old mansion.
In my mind, if you have an old house, there should be skeletons and hidden treasure.
But first, a focus on senior safety, how first responders have offered people stability and peace of mind in their own home.
We found out about this program and it came right at the right time because I'm not getting any better.
The National Council on Aging reports falls among older adults account for nearly 20% of all 911 calls.
And fire and EMS see more older adults because of falls than fires, oftentimes being called to the same homes repeatedly.
It's a trend some EMS crews in Ohio were inspired to fix. Reporter Brian Duffy shows us how.
Mylan Corona, aging and unsure on his feet at times, quite simply, does not want to fall.
But I know there's a potential for it. And the way my health is now, it kind of goes up and down. So, I mean, I don't want it to happen.
As he makes his way through his home, he has good reason to feel that way. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, falls were the leading cause of injury death for Americans over 65, claiming 36,000 lives in 2020. And consider that 3 million older adults ended up in the emergency room due to a fall. Those numbers push the financial costs simply due to falls to an astronomical $50 billion. Fire and EMS crews across the country, they've noticed. Mike Fuller is with Akron Fire. He said EMS crews noticed a significant trend as it related to falls.
They were noticing that they were going on same people over and over for the same issues, falls.
So they went to work. Instead of sitting back while lives were at risk and EMS crews made the same runs over and over, they developed in Akron what they call the REACH program. It's a solution, a good one.
Where will you put your hand?
So right about there.
Right about there?
Yep.
Okay.
Fuller will make contact with older adults who have fallen and called 911 for help. If they are willing, he'll assess the fall dangers that exist in their home, then provide a simple fix or two, like a grab bar on the steps, or in a shower or bath. The REACH program, Fuller said, was born out of necessity.
A lot of people don't even realize until they have an accident and maybe they're in rehab and then they're like, hey, when I get home, I don't want to fall in a shower again. I didn't think I had that issue, but now I do.
Launched in 2019, REACH grew from the department's belief that if fire prevention was crucial to their mission, then it would follow that fall prevention should be as well. District Chief Chris Karakis oversees Akron EMS. For him, the program is necessary and practical.
Meanwhile, our EMS volume has kept rising. So we stepped back and said, well, at a certain point, we need to quit throwing resources at it and start looking at how we can reduce those calls to 911.
So they did. The program initially was fueled through referrals from Akron EMS, but the program has grown. Mylan Corona is not a fall victim, but he heard about the program and made a phone call.
Yeah, that works out great. We found out about this program and it came right at the right time because I'm not getting any better.
But now he feels safer, and the results are clear. In Akron, the REACH program is working.
Sometimes it's hard to quantify exactly how well it's doing, just because when people almost fall or grab a grab bar, they're not calling us to let us know. So we have to look at the call volume before and then the call volume after. And we found that we do see a significant decrease in the number of calls.
I have older parents, even a grandparent still alive, and I think it's a great idea to install things in their homes to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, from fire prevention to fall prevention from them. We have to take care of the older people.
Yes, we do. When we checked in fall of 2023, the Akron Fire Department said they received so many requests for their fall prevention program, they had a hard time meeting the demand.
Akron also said departments from nearby communities have reached out interested in launching their own program.
Coming up, century-old secrets stashed throughout a mansion.
I pulled the carpet up, pulled the board up, and back in the corner right up here against the fireplace, I saw, a little shiny thing in the back.
See the discoveries that have inspired a homeowner to keep history alive. Have you ever seen an old mansion and wonder what secrets lie inside?
About 40 miles outside Kansas City, there's a 19th century home where the new owner found treasures behind the walls and under the floorboards.
Reporter Betsy Webster shows us the history he's uncovered.
With a hop and a shimmy, Thad Krasneski embarked on his latest hunt for hidden treasure.
When we pulled the shelving aside, we saw that there was this metal thing that was bolted into the stone. And we're like, well, that's really cool. We should pull that off and see what's there.
What he found was a room walled off, save for this one hole and half filled with dirt. Krasneski and his wife stepped into the 9,000 square foot home in 2021, not as homeowners, but rather stewards of its history.
The house is like, dude, I was here for 140 years before you were here. I'm going to be here 140 years after you're gone.
His first find came while dusting the top of the 12-foot-high bookshelf, a Civil War presentation cane and pocket watch. He found the owner's heir and passed it on. Then someone noticed the transoms. One of them was non-functional. Curious, he took down the painting, pulled out the nails, and dug inside to find a nook. with books.
The Scarlet Letter, Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farms, and Ben-Hur.
All dated 1907. Next.
Raccoons, HVAC system problems, weird sounds in the attic.
So up he went. He came to check on that, but a loose floorboard got him hunting for more.
I pulled the carpet up, pulled the board up, and back in the corner right up here against the fireplace, I saw, a little shiny thing in the back. I stuck my hand back in there and pulled it out, and there were 2 jars of silver coins.
So these are... Pulling up another floorboard, he found a satchel with more coins. There's a quarter dated 1916 and a dime from 1890-something.
I'm like a little kid when I get these, because I just want to sit here and play with them, because they sound different than clad coins,
The mansion's first owner died 3 months after moving in 1885. It went to his daughter, then his granddaughters, who died in the 1970s.
So in my mind, if you have an old house, there should be skeletons and hidden treasure.
The latest hunt from the hidden room was more work than reward.
Ready for next dump?
But it's far from the last.
Since I do not plan on ever moving ever again, I will stop probably sometime around the time I die.
The owner even found some old newspaper in a hollow staircase. Cool enough, he framed it.
During renovations, he also said he left current coins and newspapers behind to hopefully bring some joy to the next homeowner. And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm T. Chappelle. Thanks for watching.
Next time on Investigate TV Plus, mail carriers at the center of violent encounters.
What's behind the rise in robberies and how you can protect your mail and your money.
Beyond the physical toll, there's certainly an emotional toll. There's a mental stress that occurs with these.